He is one of the hardest working men in this business. There's no two ways about it. His 25th year broadcasting Yankees baseball. My gosh, 10 on the radio, 15 on TV. He's got his own extremely highly popular radio show, The Michael Kay Show, that she's been doing since 2002. And he does center stage on the Yes Network. He's a good friend, Michael Kay, back here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Michael?
I'm great, Rich. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What do you think of all these moves the Yankees are making? What do you think?
Oh, but they have nobody to blame but themselves. I just had a feeling, and I said it on my radio show, that they had to win that third game in Houston. I think that's how fluid it was.
Really?
Because although it seems like the easy thing to do to sell off all these high pieces, after they won the first two games in Houston, they were 4 games out of a wild card. That's not easy to just give up on a season. It's not. Long-term health of the team, it's probably better that they're doing this. But when they lost all 3 games in Tampa, that was about it. Even the first 2 games that they lost to the Rays, that pretty much spearheaded trading Andrew Miller.
So it really was down to wins and losses in late July? I mean, where they thought that they had enough horses to perhaps go and track down all these teams like Cleveland and Texas, even in their own division, Baltimore, Toronto, and Boston? Because the eye test for me, just sitting on my couch, again, you're there in person, this team does not look like they can win the 2016 World Series, even before these trades, Michael.
No, I never thought that they could win the World Series, but I did think it was a possibility they could win the wild card or the second wild card. After they had won the first 2 games against Houston, they had jumped everybody, Rich, except for Houston and the team with the second wild card. So if they had beaten Houston in that third game, then they're a game behind Houston. That game was so big, and they came out, and, you're watching, as you said, the run differential is a real telling stat. They have a negative run differential. They shouldn't be over 500, but they are. They've overachieved, and maybe they thought they could overachieve themselves right into the wild card. I think Yankee fans are a little bit spoiled where they expect championships or bust. This is a completely different paradigm which they're playing in right now. You can't buy stars because every team has money. So if you can make the playoffs, I think that's an accomplishment. I think last year was an accomplishment, although it was a 3-hour trip into the playoffs. But once they could see that they weren't going to be able to beat Tampa Bay, why even mess around? And as you said, the eye test would tell you they weren't good enough to go all the way.
Well, their best player is Carlos Beltran. Any shot that he gets traded in the next 3 hours, you think?
If he's not, I'd be shocked. I don't see why you're keeping him. Once you've traded Miller, and the Yankees keep saying they're not throwing up the white flag, but it's very clear, the Beltran thing would hurt the most because this is an abysmal offensive team, and he's having an all-star year. So if you take him out of the equation, I don't know how you're going to score a run. So maybe from an optics issue, they keep him. I don't know how much they would get for him. If they got a big package back, then I think they would sell him, but they're not going to just sell him for nothing. I just don't think there's any way that they would give him the franchise or tender him the offer to get a draft pick because he might take it. It's probably going to be $17 million. And then if you do that with him, he's got to be your DH next year. And then you got to release A-Rod, which I think is something that they're going to do anyway.
Yeah, that's my next question for you, Michael Kay. Yes Network, Michael Kay, voice of the Yankees here on the Rich Eisen Show. I think I saw him. Did I not spot him actually with a bat in his hand? Michael, didn't I see something like that over the last couple of days?
Yeah, it didn't help, though, because he struck out 5 times.
Oh, my gosh. So what? It's over, right? I mean, this is it for him as a major leaguer and with the Yankees, correct, Michael?
I would think so. I don't think they've handled him exactly the right way. They have an obsession, as you know if you watch, with Aaron Hicks. So they played Aaron Hicks an awful lot. He's hitting under 200. Right. And because they played him in right, that DH is Carlos Beltran. There's no way anybody at any age could play one game in 9 days and expect to produce. And the one game he played, he ended up striking out 4 times. So he said it yesterday, and he said it the day before that. I'm not helping myself. And then he said yesterday, we didn't help ourselves losing. The Yankees have nobody to blame but themselves for the way they played. And I think the 2 main culprits for the team failing the way it has, Rich, is Alex and Mark Teixeira. They didn't have anywhere close to the years they had last year.
Michael Kay joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So word is that the Mets are acquiring Jay Bruce. Do the Mets have the arms, which I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're all banged up. Do you think the Mets have the arms, along with this addition of a bat, to make a run They're 4 over 500 right now, 6.5 behind Washington with Mattingly's Miami Marlins. I can't believe I've said those words right in between them. What do you think, Michael?
Even before the trade, I think they still had a run in them because they have enough pitching. I mean, we look at the pitching that we envisioned them having with Zach Wheeler coming back and replacing Bartolo Colon, that it would be 5 magical arms. Well, Matt Harvey shelved. The other guys are very, very good, and Colon has pitched well. The only problem that the Jay Bruce deal poses for me, Rich, where are you going to play these outfielders? And they're all left-handed bats. Mm-hmm. So does this mean that Curtis Granderson gets benched? It's a very awkward, clunky roster that they've given to Terry Collins. You know, I think Bruce is going to help them, but it's going to be at the cost of either moving an aging Curtis Granderson into center field or benching him. Or what are you going to do with Michael Conforto unless he's involved in a deal? Because I'm hearing that the LaCroix deal is still alive as well. And they're not going to just give them Jonathan Lucroy for nothing, so they're going to have to give up one of their young prospects. I don't know who that's going to be. I doubt it would be Conforto, but they do have an outfield logjam, especially left-handed bats.
What are you hearing about the prospects the Yankees got for Chapman and Miller? What are you hearing about those guys?
Great things. I mean, the guy Clint Frazier, people love him. A poor man's, Mike Trout. I mean, if you could get a destitute man's Mike Trout, you're doing all right. And the other guy, Torres, that they got from the Cubs is supposed to be top flight as well. What the Yankees are doing that's smart right now, Rich, is they have 7 of the top 100 prospects in baseball. And I believe that's tied with one other team for the most in baseball. Doesn't mean they're all going to make it. Most of them don't make it. But now, in an era where you can't get free agents that easily, now you can make these trades with these young players and bring in the players you need to complete it. And then in 2018, if Manny Machado's available, or if Bryce Harper's available, or Jose Fernandez, those are the guys you spend your money on. But right now, the Yankees use this clearing salary. At the end of next year, they're going to be underneath the salary threshold, so that'll save them a lot of money as well. And I think they dive head first back if these young guys do make it.
And before I let you go, my wife and I, my wife Susie real well from back in the day. We were moving out of our house for 13 years today, and I cleaned out the garage, and I found a treasure trove of stuff in there, including like a Sports Illustrated cover of Thurman Munson sliding into Bill Russell at second base about the 77 World Series, Chicken Stanley turning 2 in the 78 World Series. What is the memorabilia you have that's sitting in your home or your garage or something that you found that's from back in our day, Michael, that you're particularly fond of? You got something?
Well, it's weird. Like I moved 2 years ago when we had the 2 kids.
Yeah.
And it's just the worst experience of your life. Not the kids, but the moving.
That's right.
I guess there was a Bobby Mercer baseball card that brought back a lot of memories for me because he was my all-time favorite. But I'm like you. I guess we could both appear on the show Hoarders. It's not pretty. I mean, there's stuff that I saved. I go, why did I save this stuff?
I've got my second grade report card, Michael.
I have it. Here's the deal. My mom saved every single report card, and I saved it because she thought that I would one day become president, and it would be important in the library.
And now you're calling Aaron Hicks at bats, gritting your teeth, Michael. Look at you.
I try not to grit my teeth. Does it come across on the air? Because the Yankees, Brian Cashman compared Aaron Hicks yesterday to Jackie Bradley Jr., so maybe I don't know what I'm seeing.
Well, they both have syllables in their names, I guess. I could say that. Hey, Michael, you're the best. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Best to everybody,
Good luck
okay?
with the move.
Thanks, pal. You too.
Bye.
You got it. That's Michael K.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.